Hey, it's your boy Sergeant Hooked on Henshins. So today we're going to be reviewing Kamen Rider Revice Episode 2. Like I said, I definitely most certainly going to keep up as much as I can weekly with this for as far as like the episodes. Saber I kind of fell off with. I already talked about that. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on that, you can check out the video on my channel, Kamen Rider Saber review slash ramble or whatever, where I talk about the whole series and how I felt about it and thoughts and all that. Anyway, so this was another really good episode so far. Revice is starting to give me the same uh, confidence in it being good week to week that Zenkaiger is pretty much every week. But this was a really good episode. I can't quite remember what I reviewed the first episode as score wise, but I think this one will be just a little bit higher. But anyway, so this episode mainly deals with the fallout of last episode where we had Ikki and Vice come together. They transformed, they used the driver. Daiji was supposed to use it. His younger brother got scared, couldn't do it, so Ikki did it himself and kicked butt. So this episode's plot has a couple of different parts to it. One of the main, I'd say probably the A plot, is Ikki and Vice and him already getting sick of Vice, realizing that Vice is just kind of using him as a way to have a physical form and hurt people. Whereas Ikki wants to protect people, but also isn't sure he wants to be a Kamen Rider. He even says at one point that, I don't really know if I feel, I mean, like, I guess it's nice to protect the world, but I kind of just want to stay here with my family. And I like that, and I hope we get a lot more on that, of why he's such a homebody, and maybe he's got some kind of past of some stuff he's not happy with or whatever. But anyway, so that's like the main thing we focus on throughout. We start with Phoenix, whatever the corporation is called that created the driver, and the main guy talking to the one general and George about we can't just let the civilian use the driver. And George is like, well, he's the only one compatible with it right now, and he did a great job. And so George is kind of supporting him. We also, real quick, we get the opening finally. We get the opening theme song and the stuff with it, the visuals and all that. Absolutely amazing. If I had to rate just the Reiwa era openings, it would go 01s, then Revice, and Saber wouldn't even, Saber would be number 3 out of the 3 of them. I really like this. I think it's really nice that it's got this rock rap feel to it. The visuals are cool. There's a lot of people are starting to have a lot of analysis things about what some of the things in the opening can mean. Not all Rider openings necessarily spoil things in the show, but they're supposed to kind of give you an idea of what the show is about and what they're going for. But yeah, there's definitely some thoughts I have with that, kind of where Ikki's going to go, and that it's really trying to show this divide between the two, and that they are different, but that they also now share one kind of space, one body, and that Vice is, just as much as he's trying to have an effect on Vice to make him better and not so aggressive, it feels like Vice might also be on the other side having an effect on him to be more aggressive. So I wonder how that's going to play out. We also get this dark part of it right eventually where it shows George Kanazaki, the guy that created the driver and all the tech, of course, and it shows 3 tubes behind him with what we think is either J or Kamen Rider J or Zoe or Black, I want to say, and then Ichigo and then Kuga. So I don't know if that means that, if that's just trying to be a visual thing of he uses, data on the riders to create the stuff, or if it means that we're going to find out he's somehow kidnapped the other riders and forcibly taken DNA from them to make the B stamps. I don't know. But anyway, really cool opening. Really like it. Really sets up things nice. I really enjoy the visuals. The song is a banger. I love it. So after George says, I think he's fine, whatever, of course the commander doesn't exist, or doesn't agree, the leader of the whole place, I can't remember his name. He actually, the commander guy that was going to use the stamp and then it ended up making the monster, he makes him step down, that he's not commander anymore. Daiji comes in and he's talking with George for a bit. I think this, or maybe a little bit later, is where we see the part where he's talking to George. In the background we see another little, the case that the driver was in is actually a PC case, a PC shell case, and what looks to be another driver. Some people think they can see some red on it. They're not sure what colors, but it looks to be another driver, so we're thinking that's going to be most likely for Daiji. We don't know confirmed what his rider title will be, and if he's going to have a devil with him too. Well, hopefully, maybe. Also, the opening does focus on Ikki, Daiji, and Sakura, their sister, who is a martial arts expert, so I'm hoping that becomes a thing, and maybe the 3 of them will be our 3 riders, or maybe the whole family will transform. I don't know. But anyway, so we go forward with the plot, and Ikki's reluctant about being a rider, and Daiji is told to bring the driver and a contract to him to say, for him to join Phoenix so they can officially support him and everything. He can't just do it if he's not working for Phoenix. It's their property. And so he brings to him and he basically tells him, no, I'm not really interested. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I'd rather just be here at the bathhouse and blah, blah, blah. And of course, Vice the whole time is, pecking at him and everything. And he's like, I love their dynamic. And I love that only Icky can see and talk to him, but that, and interact with him, and nobody else can, at least as far as we know. Maybe they'll introduce a character that can. I think it'd be really funny if Vice thought the person couldn't, and they're like, what are you talking about? And look right at him. Kind of like how Yuri did in that weird episode of Saber near the end. But anyway, so the other part of the plot is there's this like golfer and his caddy, and the caddy is trying to give him advice, and he basically fires him for it. And he's like a real dick. And so one of the Dead Men generals, Oteka, I think, finds him and gives him a stamp. It's the grasshopper stamp, I think, and it creates a monster, of course. And so they fight that monster. They use the eagle genome stamp, and we get the first time of Icky doing the full henshin pose. So it's the he stamps or stamp, and then it's the henshin, and then the stamp and pull it to the side. So that was really cool to see that. Him and Vice transform, and the eagle genome, which is eagle/double themed. So I like that. I think part of the jingle had something about count up your feathers or something. Really fun little snippets of dialogue and like jokes and bits in between there where he's commenting on what's going on, Vice. And near the end of it, he tries to attack a person, and Icky forcibly undoes the transformation so he doesn't have a physical body. It's really funny. But he at one point talks to the golfer guy. We don't know he's talking to him, but apparently later on we find out he said to him, have you ever thought about letting out the devil inside? Wouldn't you just love to go crazy and let the devil inside out? And so this leads to Icky and Vice having a fight in the bathhouse. They transform he literally transforms just so he can beat the shit out of Vice. I like this dynamic, and I'm sure it's going to get better later. Like right now it's sort of like this thing where he's just trying to he wants to help people, but he's getting really pissed that Vice is as aggressive as he is. And he threatens him a few times throughout, and saying, he at one point says, he threatens him a few times throughout, just to calm down, basically. So that's that part of it. And his family, kind of talking to him. They talk to the mom for a bit. Vice comments on how tasty. Oh, she'd be looking good. She'd be looking tasty. Like, Vice, calm it down, man. You're thirsty. You're too thirsty. Anyway. So they're doing their thing, and while they're there talking to the mom, the dad actually made origami, like a origami crane. It's like a 3-headed crane, so it's extra, ×3 good luck, basically, which I thought was cute because he just loves the mom so much. I don't know if I feel as though any of the family members are gonna die, and what that'll mean, because in this show with the dead man and everything, the dead man's dead men, whatever, I wonder if they were somebody else when they were alive, and when they died, their spirit and body has become something different because of whatever GIF is, or whatever Gifu, whatever the main villain is, the statue thing that's nothing right now. So I wonder about that, if maybe they're hinting at the fact that one of the parents or both might die at some point or something, or that they're going to have something about them. I guess the actor for the dad revealed in an interview recently that there's more to the dad than what people know or something. So I'm really hoping there won't be a son versus dad thing again in Rider. I really don't like that trope. It really bothers me. We've not done it for 2 series. Well, yeah, we've not done it in 2 series because technically in 0-1 it wasn't really that because he was really trying to help him. But anyway, I just don't like that trope. It bothers the shit out of me, and it happens in Rider, happens in Sentai, happens in fucking Power Rangers. Just stop it. Stop it. There are healthy father-son relationships, Toei. But anyway, so he has an outburst, Icky does, with Vice right there, where he's trying to tell Vice to shut up, and he thinks he's talking to. They think he's saying it to the dad. The dad's like, oh, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was just kidding. Haha, it's fine. And so then so they destroyed that one monster for the one caddy that came from the caddy, but then the golfer guy makes his own with the Megalodon stamp, which is interesting because I thought. Did he not use the Did Revice not use the Megalodon stamp in Megalodon / Decade stamp in the first episode? I thought maybe 2. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of the crossover, or not the crossover, the cameo he had in Saber. Anyway, so it makes a monster, of course, and it's funny because he's going through and he's fighting, he's using the Ohin Buster and Ceiling Buster, Ohin Buster. He's slashing and stuff. And then he finds out he catches it because the monster knocks it out of his hand. He catches it, and it's a blaster on the other side. And he shoots a bunch of the grunts, and he's like, and he's looking at it, and then at the same time it switches camera angles to the monster, and the monster's like you just shoot somebody, dude. I didn't know we were using guns, dude. That's not fair. Time out. So they have this really, I really like the dynamic, not only that Icky and Vice have, but at the, when they're talking with each other, but also as characters, but also when they're fighting, it's really cool too. We also get the reveal that they have this like genome remix ability where they press the button on the stamp that's attached, and they push it to the side again, and it makes them form together into an animal based off whatever animal their stamp is. So they do it with the T-Rex one. They become a T-Rex together. They did it with the eagle in the beginning of the episode, or near the beginning of the episode. Throughout, like I said, Icky's just trying to tell Vice, like, calm down. Like, you're not going to work with me if you're going to be, like, a psychopath about it. And so he has this, like, big thing where he's like, you know what? He's fighting without the driver before he transforms, and we get, some good fighting there. He says, Vice tells him, hey, come on, you have to fight, transform, come on. He's like, no. He's like, why? He's like, because if you're going to be like you are now, where you're trying to, like, hurt people and, like, murder people and eat people, I'm not going to transform, and I'm going to fight without it. And even if I have to, I will, unless you make, he's like, make a contract with me right now that you will fight to protect everyone. Everyone. You will listen to me. You will fight to protect everyone. And if you don't, I will fight like this without the driver until I die. And if I die, you know what happens. And that kind of hits Vice pretty hard. Finally, it's something to make him calm down. He's like, okay, fine, I'm sorry. And so supposedly he agrees to that. And they finally transform and come together. And I like that moment. I like where because he basically says that driver should be used to protect people and families. Like, I like that, still honing in on using the technology that seems to come from an ominous source of some kind, because I don't really trust Phoenix in general, Phoenix, for good. I like that. I think that's really cool. And it just really starts to cement him as a really good primary writer right away. He's really strong characterized right away, whereas Toma took a little while for me to be decent-ish. He's like strong right away, Icky. So I like that. So they fight together. We get the T-Rex genome, and of course, the thing everybody's talking about, where technically Vice is holding Icky up and like his face is in his ass, and Toei. Like, I get it. It's a gag and it's funny. He even says something about why am I always on the bottom and blah blah blah. So that's fun. A fun joke and goofiness with that. Like, it's eating ass the Kamen Rider. It's just, I love it. Anyway, so they fight. They destroy the monster. They do an attack within the T-Rex form, T-Rex stamping finish thing, and destroy the monster. And the golf caddy and the golfer end up, becoming friends again, and blah, blah, blah. And so overall, it was a really good second episode. It carried a lot of things through from the first, where he still didn't trust Vice, and kind of like working on their relationship, what I'm sure is going to be kind of a thing they do throughout the series. Honing in on that idea of, like, you need to help me protect people or I'm not going to help you. And it's interesting to note about him talking about how much that he would rather die than have, like, Vice, hurt somebody. I wonder what they're going to do with that, because, like I said, I really want them to go in hard on the whole dead man group, and what that means if somebody does die are the dead man able to, like, take that person's spirit or body and do something with it? Because there's a point in the episode that you see Christina Aguilera, I'm going to call her that from now in the reviews, and she's up by the Gifu, Gifu-sama, whatever the, like, statue thing that's her husband, boyfriend, whatever it is, I don't know, and talks about, why was I born, what is my purpose, what happened in my life before. So I wonder if she's not always been part of the group, if, like, she's being forcibly used somehow. I don't like that, because Ryder has a really bad problem with having female characters be forcibly used by male characters for their own ends, and it's kind of goofy. But I'm wondering what that all means and what the backstory we're going to get with that is. So overall, really good episode. I probably would rate this higher than the premiere. I probably would, honestly, with as many good character moments we got and the cool transformations, the second genome for the series with the eagle genome, I probably would give it a strong 10 out of 10, honestly. It was a really good second episode. I loved the music, the fighting, the henshin sequence, being able to see the full pose. Opening was great. The moments between Icky and Vice are really good. Seeing Icky work with his brother, too. His brother has that gun phone thing, and Vice has him taking it at one point and shooting with it and stuff. And we also get this thing that when they do finishers, sometimes he goes 3, 2, one, and then and blows up and he like takes a picture because the gun is like a phone thing. He like takes a selfie with it. So I like Vice right now. The fourth wall breaking thing is fun. I don't know if they need to do it every single episode multiple times. I get it. It's clever, but I don't think it's necessary every time. But right now he's okay. I think he'll take a little bit to grow on me. I like the idea of him, and I like what they're doing with his character, and I liked his moments with Icky in this, where he's like, Icky trying to convince him to be, more heroic, if you will. But yeah, so I'm hoping that starts to pick up more, and we get some more moments like that to develop him a little bit more. But I really like their dynamic. It's really fun. It's very Abbott and Costello comedy duo type moments with them and how they do things. I think it's really funny. And also, by the way, his voice actor is trash, just so you guys know. But anyway, so yeah, that's how I feel about the episode. Fairly soon, I should probably be getting, I'm hoping, my Revice driver. I know there's been some issues in Japan with like COVID and stuff like that as far as production and shipping and whatever. So as soon as I get that, I'll try to do an unboxing / review of that. Clearly a henshin video with the stamp and all that. I don't know I'm going to collect all the stamps. I probably will do some of my favorite riders like the Forze stamp and maybe the Megalodon. And maybe if some other ones come out that I care about or that look cool. But definitely a review for that. And yeah, gonna keep up with Zenkaiger and stuff too. So, but yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys thought about episode 2 of Revice. Did you guys like it? Do you like Vice? Is he annoying as shit? Do you guys like where the show is heading so far with, kind of where we're going with things? Do you think George has like a darker side that we're not seeing yet, and maybe he's gonna, end up being an evil rider or something like that? How do you guys feel? Let me know in the comments. Again, thank you guys so much for subscribing. We're almost 220 subscribers, which is insanity to me. But thank you so much for subscribing, for sharing, for liking, even disliking. It's engagement, whatever. Commenting, watching the videos. I appreciate you guys so much. But as always, stay hooked on Henshins. I'll talk to you guys later, and thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.